All right, this is our last lesson in your sub-plan, student plans. It looks like lesson 6.5, proportional relationships. And I just think it is so fitting that this is our last lesson of the school year because, guys, essentially it is slope and proportional relationships. So again, remember, a proportional relationship will always be a straight line that goes through 0, 0 on the graph. And then if we look at the point where x equals 1, that value of y is going to be our slope. Now, for some reason, they jump back and forth between slope being m, which is what we normally call it, or slope being the letter k. So in this lesson, you will see a k that attaches itself to an x instead of an m that attaches itself to an x, but they are both slope. You're also going to see, instead of calling it slope or unit rate or rate of change, we've got a new term that we can use. So slope can also be called a constant of proportionality. So whenever you see that word, constant of proportionality, just think in your head, I'm just finding slope. This isn't scary, I'm just finding slope. So remember, to find slope on a proportional graph, all we need is 1 point. And we just divide the y value by the x value, and that gets us slope. So for this example, determine whether the relationship in the table is proportional. If so, write an equation to model it. So we know if it's proportional, anytime I divide y by x, I'm going to get the same number. So 5 divided by 1 is 5. 10 divided by 2 is 5. 15 divided by 3 is 5. 20 divided by 4 is 5. And 25 divided by 5 is 5. So this table is proportional. My equation then becomes y equals my slope times x. So that number that I was finding each time I divided y by x, that's my slope, right? So y equals 5x. Remember, this shortcut, y divided by x, only works if the table is proportional. If the table is not proportional, you need to do the y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So if a table is not proportional or a line is not proportional, this is what we have to do to find slope. But as soon as they tell us that it is proportional, then we're able to use that shortcut. It's just y divided by x. Let's look at this test example. The graph of a proportional relationship contains the points 1, 6.4 and 7, 44.8. Which equation represents this relationship? Well, remember, because it's proportional, my slope can equal y divided by x. I just need to make sure I'm working with the same point. So if I am going to use this first point, m will equal 6.4 divided by 1, which is 6.4. And then remember, if we're doing our slope of the line, y equals something times x. This is where our slope goes, right? So y equals 6.4 times x. But remember, we always need to look for if it's proportional, then we can do our shortcut. Okay. The relationship between the number of children and the number of adults at a party is shown on the graph is proportional. Which equation models the relationship on the graph? So if I look, the easiest thing to do is find your first point that actually intersects a whole number x and a whole number y. So that first point is right here, right? Do you see how that 5 and that 4 both come together at that point? So that point is x equals 4 and y equals 5. They know, we know it's proportional because they've told us. So to find my slope, I can just do y divided by x, or m equals 5 divided by 4. And if I do 5 divided by 4 as a decimal, that is 1.25. So remember, because it's proportional, it's just y equals mx. So y equals 1.25 times x. That is right there. Let's look at number 3. The distance a submarine travels depends on the time it has been traveling. Which of the following statements is true based on the table? So I look at my answers first. 3 out of my 4 say that it is proportional. My last one says it's not. So let's start with that first. In order to find out if it's proportional, I divide y by x, right? 90 divided by 2 is 45. 225 divided by 5 is 45. 315 divided by 7 is 45. Are you seeing a trend? 495 divided by 11 is 45. So my m is 45, which means my equation is y equals 45x. So the first thing I know is it is proportional, which means D cannot be our right answer. The next thing I know is that my equation is y equals 45x, and the answer that matches that is letter B. Let's do number 6 on the next page. Remember, even though I'm only doing a few examples with you, Miss Laura has my answer sheet. And so as you try the other questions and you want to check your answers, she can make that sheet available to you so you can check. Okay, number 6. A hybrid vehicle travels 396 miles using 9 gallons of gasoline. The relationship between the distance traveled, D, and the number of gallons of gasoline used, G, is proportional. Which equation models the relationship? So we are looking at miles per gallon. right? If they're proportional, we're looking at miles per gallon. So that means my miles are going to be on top and my gallons are going to be on the bottom. So then I need to put my numbers in, right? 396 miles uses up 9 gallons of gasoline. And 396 divided by 9 is 44. So I can go 44 miles per gallon. What that means is that 44 is my slope or my constant of proportionality, whatever you want to call it. But my miles, they say distance, D, and my gallons, they use G. So D equals 44G. And that's letter C. Okay, I think we've done enough examples for you to be able to try the rest on your own. Remember to ask Miss Laura for the answer key as you need it. Guys, I'm so proud of you. I wish that I could be here with you and enjoying these last couple of days together. For those of you that are moving on from here onto something else, I wish you all the best. And for those of you that are coming back to classes, I can't wait to see you in July. Remember, you've got my cell phone if you need anything, and I will be in touch. Hope you're well. Bye-bye.